The Trump legal team, the Dream Team, is reportedly uncovering a level of voter fraud that is absolutely unprecedented in our nation's history. And the state of Michigan is the latest. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was on Lou Dobbs the other day, and he dropped an absolute bombshell. He said that they had uncovered enough unlawful ballots in Pennsylvania and Michigan to flip the election. Now, we have to remember, Rudy Giuliani's specialty historically as a prosecutor is his history of investigating and exposing corruption. That's how he made his name in New York City. Well, he's taking that expertise in investigating and exposing corruption, and he's focusing all of his energies now on Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Take a look at the latest measures that state legislatures in Michigan and Pennsylvania are taking to audit the vote, how new evidence is showing that Dominion voting systems may have irreparably compromised the integrity of the vote, and why many believe that Michigan and Pennsylvania may indeed flip and give Trump the election. Your latest escapades in the Democrats' futile attempts to thwart the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. If you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be a privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel. Let's dive right in here. Michigan legislatures have now officially joined legislatures in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia in ordering a full audit of the vote in their state. In a letter to the Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, Michigan state senators are urging her to conduct an official audit before the State Board of Canvassers certify the 2020 election results, which right now are being given to Biden. This is key to Trump's strategy here. His legal team is pursuing a twofold strategy to delay the certification of the election results. They're suing in court to stop the certification results in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Georgia, while at the same time they're pressuring the legislatures to step in and take the initiative to disallow any certification until a full audit of the vote is conducted, which now appears to have been successful in all 4 states. It appears that the legislatures in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia are stepping in and demanding a full audit of the vote, which would include recanvassing and recounting before the Secretary of State can certify the vote. Now, if you don't certify the vote, if you stop the certification, you have stopped the appointing of electors. And if you've stopped the appointing of electors, you have effectively stopped Joe Biden from becoming president. So he is emphatically not the president-elect. He's the president-elect only in the kabuki theater put on by the mainstream Marxist media. Now, the beauty of the legislatures getting involved is that it completely frustrates the Democrats' legal attempts to block the vote audits. What's so neat about this is that the Democrats are trying to block a recount in all of these states, which of course the mainstream media will not tell you. They will not tell you that these lawyers for Biden are trying to stop the recount of the vote. They're deliberately suppressing coverage of the fact that Democrat lawyers are doing everything they possibly can to stop the recanvassing and recounting of votes. Democrat lawyers are trying to block recounts in the courts. But the beauty of our system is because legislatures, state legislatures, have the constitutional authority over the election process. They can do whatever they want. They can count, they can recount, they can audit, they can recanvass. Again, the Constitution is absolutely clear here. It's the legislatures that are the governing authorities over their state elections. And so as Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Georgia order audits of their votes, the Democrats could fight this all they want in the courts. It's all for naught. The legislatures can do whatever they want. So the Trump strategy of getting the legislators to act seems to have indeed worked. Wow, so this is about to explode. President Trump could not contain his excitement over these revelations. He tweeted out, report, Dominion deleted 2.7 million Trump votes nationwide. Data analysis finds 221,000 Pennsylvania votes switched from President Trump to Biden. 941,000 Trump votes deleted. States using Dominion voting systems switched 435,000 votes from Trump to Biden. Now, he was citing a report from One America News Network that came up with these figures. The Gateway Pundit as well, they've reported on their own investigations citing similar numbers. Now, Dominion Voting Systems first made headlines when it was discovered that what they're calling this computer glitch in Oakland County, Michigan, resulted in a Republican candidate losing to his Democrat opponent. But once the glitch was fixed, the Republican ended up winning. And of course, there was that incident of 6,000 votes that were switched from Trump to Biden as well. Politico reported on Georgia experiencing similar irregularities with Dominion systems. And it's being reported that it appears that election officials may have found enough glitches in Pennsylvania alone to give the lead back to Trump. Now, we're waiting on confirmation for all of this, but if all of this is corroborated, all this obviously is huge. It's another examples of voting machines glitching in a single direction from Trump to Biden's favor, and it's going to warrant hand counting in numerous counties that may indeed switch blue counties to red, or better, switch back the votes to red. And so, with so many reports of voting irregularities and discrepancies and outright deceit, it's looking like Republicans are finally waking up and are getting ready to fight this thing. All right, so Republican legislatures are starting to rise up to the occasion here. The Pennsylvania House Republicans have announced a legislative-led audit of the 2020 election, and they're insisting that election results not be certified, right, nor electors be seated until the audit is completed. In other words, the Pennsylvania Republican lawmakers who own both the state House and Senate are rising up and taking control of this election process precisely as the United States Constitution requires them to. So we're seeing a similar movement in Wisconsin. The Republican Wisconsin Assembly Speaker Robin Vos is directing a committee to review the entire statewide election process after credible revelations of voter fraud, especially in light of reports of midnight ballot dumping that were all for Joe Biden. It's also just been announced that the president of the Republican-controlled Arizona Senate is calling for an independent analysis of voting data in the state before their votes are fully certified. Now, as the legislatures are getting involved, we had, as we reported yesterday, a major victory in the courts. Pennsylvania court ruled in favor of the Trump campaign, ordering that the state may not count ballots where the voters needed to provide proof of identification and failed to do so by November 9th. And what happened is that the Pennsylvania Secretary of State changed the date that voters had to cure their identity issues on ballots. And this court ruled that she had no authority to change that date as originally set by the Pennsylvania legislature. And so the court has ordered all those votes tossed. And this was a gigantic victory because it's the first of many judicial rulings to come, but it's telegraphing that the Democrats overstepped their bounds, as it were, in this process. Republican state legislatures in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin all set the date, time, and manner of their elections in accordance with the U.S. Constitution. And it appears that more and more non-legislature officials, like judges or Secretary of States, came in and basically changed those dates. And the courts are now coming in and saying that those changes were invalid. Non-legislature officials have no authority to set the time, date, and manner of an election. And so the courts and ultimately the Supreme Court look ready to reverse many of these votes that were cast illegally by virtue of unconstitutional legislating, either from the bench or from the Secretary of State or what have you. So it's a combination, you see, it's a twofold front of Republican legislatures stepping up and the courts stepping in that the Trump team believes will indeed flip states like Michigan and Pennsylvania back over to Trump and effectively overturn the media coronation of Joe Biden. Michigan and Pennsylvania are on the verge of flipping to Trump as pundits are saying things are about to explode.
US President Donald Trump has won the closely fought presidential election in the state of Alaska, winning 3 electoral college votes and taking his tally to 217. The Republican Party has also retained the Senate seat from Alaska, giving it 50 seats in the 100-member United States Senate. When the election was called in Alaska, Trump had received 56.9% of the total votes counted and President-elect Joe Biden from the Democratic Party with 39.1%. With this, Trump's tally of Electoral College votes has increased to 217 as per the count maintained by the New York Times. Biden has already been declared winner of the November 3rd presidential election with 279 of the 538 Electoral College votes. Trump has refused to concede and has filed lawsuits in multiple states challenging election results. The election results in Alaska also gave the Republican Party an edge over the Democrats in the Senate. Republican Senator Dan Sullivan won his Senate re-election bid. This gives the Republicans 50 Senate seats, while the Democrats have 48. The two Senate seats are going in for elections on January 5th. A TOI Online report.